and 13th year wide receiver fucking Hunter Renfrow and a plethora of fucking running backs.
I found out on Hard Knocks Hunter Renfrow can't sing for shit.
Good for him.
He got booed.
Good. He should. All right, so I think Missouri's going to be bad. I think you're going to see a complete drop off. Drew Lock played football one way. The team's not much different except now there's a quarterback who can't throw as well as the quarterback you had, and he likes to get out of the pocket and run it.
Drew Lock was pretty fucking bad the other night too.
Well, he's not a professional caliber quarterback.
Well, he was pretending to be one.
Every time I hear Drew Lock, I think of Shrek because of Duloc.
Okay.
But
your mind works in mysterious ways.
It does. It does. I don't know how it works, but it does. So
not like the rest of ours.
If you disagree with Missouri, who do you think's going to be next after Ole Miss?
It's most likely going to be Missouri, but I don't think they're going to be followed that far behind by Kentucky.
Okay.
I think the chances are greater that it will be Missouri than Kentucky, is what I meant.
Me too.
I could also see South Carolina being in that area.
I don't know. I think South Carolina is going to have a pretty solid season.
I have them right above Kentucky.
I have them
They have a really difficult schedule.
So let's look at their schedule. At North Carolina, Charleston Southern, excuse me. Then Alabama comes to South Carolina. At Missouri, Kentucky. At Georgia, Florida comes to South Carolina. If I can have my Texas versus or Maryland upsetting Texas moment, South Carolina beats Florida, no question in my mind.
All right, I can see where you're going with that, just because. Yeah, I guess I don't know. Fuck Florida personally, so.
5, 6, 7, 8. I see 8, maybe 9 wins for South Carolina. Just going through the schedule. Beat North Carolina, beat Charleston Southern, lose to Alabama, beat Missouri, beat Kentucky, beat Florida, lose to Georgia, beat Tennessee, beat Vandy, beat Appalachian State. They have a good game with Texas A&M. That would be the 9th win if they could beat Texas A&M. But Texas A&M will probably win. So I'm going to say 8-4 for South Carolina.
I can see that. Sorry, I can see them losing a few of those games. Like I can definitely see Florida going either way. North Carolina going either way.
North Carolina is going to be a very bad football team. Very bad. South Carolina on the road is a 7.5 point favorite over North Carolina.
That's fair.
I think North Carolina is going to be a very bad team. They've got a new head coach. They looked like absolute shit the past couple of seasons without Mitch Trubisky. I mean, I don't see them getting better. Not this year. But anyways, so you think it could be South Carolina. Where do you see Mississippi State falling?
Right in there. Mississippi State, South Carolina, Florida all jumble themselves to me.
Mississippi State did get some key transfers.
Yeah, but I mean, that could be the difference between them winning a few games right there. But they're all going to be middle of the pack bowl teams that will probably lose because the SEC sucks at bowls.
I could see Mississippi State going 8-4. Their quarterback is Tommy Stevens, the transfer from Penn State, the one who was supposed to take over for Trace McSorley, and was like, deuces. But regardless, I think they are the next. I can see them swapping with Auburn. But then after that, we really get into the meat and fucking potatoes. Florida would be the next worst. Then I see Texas A&M, LSU, Alabama, and Georgia. Or Georgia, then Alabama. It's tough to predict because you could have a situation like I could realistically see LSU beating Alabama.
Yeah, those games tend to get a little crazy, especially when you start getting into the rivalry and just the hate for one another.
When they consider 23-0 a blowout, that's how you know it's a good rivalry.
Well, yeah, I mean, and in that sense, it is a blowout. We've seen games be decided in this division
9-6,
literally by the kickoff to close the game. We've seen it happen. So, it's once you get to the cream of the crop, anything truly is possible against these teams. And
I remember one game.
Fuck Tua.
Auburn versus Mississippi State ended 3-2.
Yeah, I think I remember that as well.
That was a terrible game. Terrible game. So, who would you say is next? Because I think of the ranked teams, which are Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, LSU, and Texas A&M, I think Florida is the weakest.
That's my personal opinion as well. I don't think Florida is very good.
I think Florida finishes the season unranked.
I think that they're definitely... I think they get a lot of their hype from their name.
I mean, they've got some good things going for them, but I don't think it's going to be good enough for them to be successful in the SEC. I don't think LaMichael Pirine is going to be good enough to carry the team at running back. I know Felipe Frank sucks. Their defense, they're without a ton of good defenders. One of the most passionate defenders I've ever seen come from Florida, Voshawn Joseph. He's not there anymore. He's in the NFL. So I don't know if I can...
I've never really been a Florida fan anyway, so...
I used to when I was young. I used to have a few teams that I consider myself a fan of. I was 6. When you're 6, that's okay. I was a Penn State fan. I was a Florida fan. Now I have a team that I root for and teams that I like to see do well. I'm a Penn State fan. No matter who they play, I'm going to root for Penn State. But you know what? I like to see Temple do well. I like to see San Diego State do well. Schools that I applied to.
Sure. Florida's the next one. Fuck them.
Yeah, Florida. Yep.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. For some reason, I'm seeing them all over, the top of the rankings. Well, not the very top, obviously. No one's going to put them above Georgia and Bama, but I'm seeing them as, listed as, third overall in the SEC.
Which is a joke.
Yeah, that's not justifiable.
What? I don't get why people are hyping them up so much.
Because they see the name... They see the name Florida and they go, ooh.
Because they want Florida, Georgia to be relevant.
It's like seeing the Porsche SUV and being intrigued by it, but knowing it's just a Volkswagen Touareg with different emblems.
That's about a perfect analogy right there.
That's just the only way I can explain it. You think it's better than it really is, but it's bitch, you got a Volkswagen.
It's a good point.
Yeah, Texas A&M has shown signs of improvement. They definitely look like they belong in at least the conversation. The top of the SEC.
I
definitely agree with that.
I haven't seen Florida do anything of note recently that makes me think that they're all of a sudden going to take a massive leap from last year.
Their best game will be against Florida State because it always fucking is.
I don't know. I think
their most entertaining game is always against Florida State because that shit always comes down to a field goal.
I don't think they're going to win it, but I think that the game Saturday is going to be really fucking good.
Who do they play?
Miami. I think Miami's going to win.
Back.
Seriously, we've got 2 games, and I'm not kidding. I'm more excited for the late game, which is Arizona versus Hawaii.
What's the line on the Florida-Miami game?
The Florida-Miami game? I bet fucking Florida's a 60-point favorite.
No.
Florida's a 7-point favorite at home.
Fuck that noise. Bet
Holy
Miami
shit.
all day.
Thursday the 29th. Central Florida is a 45.5 point favorite over Florida A&M. 45.5 with a third string quarterback starting.
That being said, you do know the biggest upset or the biggest spread in baseball history went down last night, and it was the Astros minus 500 to the fucking Detroit Tigers because Verlander was on the hill, and the Tigers fucking won.
Yes! Yes! And you're welcome.
It was
A's have been
minus
beating the Yankees.
500.
It was minus 500. It was the largest line that MLB has ever posted in a single game, and obviously it became the biggest upset that MLB ever saw.
Yeah, man, that's something you gotta bet on. You see stuff like that when it's the largest ever. You gotta bet against that. Like 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be right.
Dude, you put $50 down, you walk away with $250.
Yeah.
You put $100 down, you walk away with $500.
Well, wait, wouldn't it be if you put $1 down, you walk away with 500? If it's 500 to 1?
Because if it's minus 500, it would be. You would have to put up $500 to win $100 on the team to win. Now, if they're plus 500, that means if you bet $100, you would win 500.
Okay. All right.
I know it doesn't fucking make sense the way that you're thinking.
Yeah.
Mathematically makes sense, but as far as sports books are concerned, when it comes to math, consider it Lord of the Rings. You have no power here.
Okay. All right. Anyways, back to the SEC. The next worst team after Florida, I think, is Auburn.
100%. I don't expect Auburn to walk away out of Dallas with a win. I expect them to lose. I already said this, though.
To Oregon?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
And I think that sets the stage for their season.
I think both of us agreed we were expecting to see an undefeated Oregon versus an undefeated Utah in the Pac-12 championship.
I think we agreed that's very
We all
possible.
kind of agreed on that. And,
Yeah.
Can't wait. Gonna try and put my dick back to sleep.
You've only been an Oregon fan for a season.
That is commitment.
2 seasons now.
2 seasons. 2 seasons.
And that is commitment, and I appreciate it.
It was like 2 weeks after he became an Oregon fan. He's doing that fucking
Don't you
Tough
fan
Mudder
shame him.
run. No. He's doing like that, what is it, Tough Mudder run or whatever it was that you did. And you're wearing an Oregon shirt. It was like 2 weeks.
To be fair, I found that, I think I was, where did I find that? It was so cheap. It was like $5. And I was just like, well, I'm going to cop this. So.
Well, if I'm gonna choose, I might as well commit.
That's.
I mean,
Good
granted, I can't really knock him because if he ever does decide to get like a Herbert uniform and he's on a team he doesn't like in the pros, he could totally get an Oregon one, and he's got like fucking 15 choices.
That's it. He's got one every fucking game.
Oh, I meant from like his last season.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. From the last season, yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure they just burned the ones once they used them. They're like, well, we can't use these again.
They used him in a sacrifice.
It's the most like Vander Trump thing to do. Like, oh, I've worn it. Can't wear it again.
Anyways, yeah. So Auburn, I think, is a pretender as well.
I mean, the defense looks like it'll be pretty good, but I think they've got a freshman quarterback, and I don't like their schedule very much. Isn't Malzahn taking over play calling?
Probably.
I heard he was doing that to like shake things up. So, but I don't know. I don't know how much of a difference that is going to make. I could see them and A&M on the same kind of level. I definitely think they'll be better than Florida. Probably worse than LSU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think Auburn is going to be worse than Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M is the next one I would pick.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So after that, it's the three obvious, in my opinion. It goes LSU,